computer. Bam. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 93rd episode of Concerned Dads Podcast. I'm your host, Katie M. Kane. Our guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he is a writer. He is an R&B singer. He is a music video director. He has a new one called Liner out right now that you guys can check out on YouTube. He is from Texas, but he is in Spokane, Washington. John M.F. Ward, ladies and gentlemen, in the building. John
What's
M.F. Ward.
the deal? I appreciate it, man. I
Y-
really do. Like, you
y-
have no idea.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm a big fan, man. I'm a big fan. And yeah, if I wouldn't have hung out with TJ and those guys, I wouldn't have heard your music or Kenny Pahina either. So I'm just like, I'm glad you guys connected and we were able to connect. Like it's just a whole bunch of good music being made in this circle, man. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
no, absolutely. I'm honestly honored to know the people I know, at least in this music world, because it's easy to kind of feel alone, like especially when, you'll meet. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this. Like you're doing something that you have a love and passion for. And then, there are people who I'm not saying they don't love and have a passion for it like you do, but it's not on the same.
Yeah.
And it's easy to kind of feel alone. When I started doing music, I remember when Kenny and I like linked up, and I just remember him being of a certain talent that I was just like, he gets it.
Yeah.
He gets it, And so
Yeah.
I get to Spokane, and fortunately, just through posts, it's done enough networking to get across to people like TJ Change and all these folks here, and all of them recognize my music, and I recognize theirs, and it's just like, man, I know all these incredible artists, and
Yeah.
so, but I'm just happy that we all kind of got to know each other. Talking about Kenny and y'all getting to know Kenny and becoming fans of his, I'm pretty sure that's just unreal for him too.
Yeah, well, dude, yeah, I've heard you on I heard you on the show. They played a couple of your songs and they played that one of his, and I was like, damn, those are all bangers. I was like, I gotta try and get the guy that they didn't have on their show on my show first, just so I'm not directly competing with my homies. You know what I mean?
Right,
But
exactly.
I was like, for sure, I was like, I'm gonna holler at John later, man. You know what I mean? That let that episode get some weeks on it, and I was like, man, have him come back. He'll drop something new. You know what I mean? So
That's exactly
yeah.
right. There's a lot of stuff being cooked, man. And also, thank you for reaching out, bro. Like, I really appreciate that,
Oh
man.
yeah, no doubt, man. Fan of the music, bro. You know, and I thank you for taking the time because a lot of people are too busy, or you know what I mean, or too cool, or and thank you for being a cool enough cat to take an hour on a Saturday,
Oh,
bro.
bro.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
hey, man. I really enjoy just the conversation. And on top of that, man, like you're close with TJ and that crew, with On One. It's such a trip, man. Like this town, everybody I'm from Killeen. Don't get me wrong; it's kind of small, but it ain't as connected.
Uh,
Here everybody's kind of connected to each other, and I've never been the type that's just like I don't really do that, or like I'm too cool.
yeah. Well, some people are, man. You know what I mean? Like it's. I don't know, man. I don't care how many views anyway. It's like, nah, man. He has tight shit. I want to come on my show. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly, like
I don't.
genuinely rock with it. I rock with it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm not there's no requirements like, nah, they gotta have 10K followers. So it's like, who cares? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The shit is dope. Like that's and I feel lucky too, like with Kenny Pahina, because I was like, damn, he's only got this many subs. I like he's on the cusp. You know what I mean? He's about to trend upward. So I'm glad I was able to interview him early in his career because I think he's gonna go places too, you know.
oh yeah, I do too. I've been telling him for a while. Like the story about me and him is just so funny because
Yeah, man. Can you talk about that from your point of view, man? Because he explained it a little bit when he was on the show, but let's hear the John M.F. Ward version,
well,
man.
I had known him for a couple years. Like I knew of Kenny and he knew of me. Like we didn't know each other, but we were mutuals on some social media platforms. Now we weren't always that way. Like it was almost like he hadn't established himself due to work. Like he was working a lot and he had a rollout, but then he would take it down. At least if I'm remembering it correctly, like he had a profile, but then he ended up taking it down And then he kind of disappeared, and I didn't hear from him for years. And then out of nowhere, he follows me back, and then he goes, "Hey, I found you again." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. I remember your face." And then he was talking about how he did music, and I went to go listen to his music. And when I heard his music, like I was like, "Holy shit, Kenny! Like this is incredible." Because like he's got such an ear. Like he knows what sounds really good. Like he knows how to mix and do all this. And here's
Yeah.
the part I'd ask him, like, "Yo, so who makes your beats?
Yeah.
Who does all this?" And he goes, "I do. Like I do everything.
Yeah.
I make the beat, I mix it, I sing it, I master it, I
Fucking
record the
J.
video.
Cole, man, for reals.
Dude, he does everything himself." So when I found that out, I was like, "Holy shit, this guy is of a different breed." And literally, we just got to talking for maybe a couple months, and next thing you know, we both got him flying out to Texas, and he stayed with me for about 9 days.
Hell yeah, dude. You guys shot a video or something when he was out there too?
Yeah, dude, we shot part of the "My Friends Are Trying to Kill Me" video, and he recorded the song there. Like
Dope.
I was working a sales job at the time, and my job really consumed me. I mean, I was working 40 plus hours a week. I'd go to work around noon, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get home till 10, 11, sometimes midnight.
Yeah.
That was like 5 days a week. And so he was willing to stay at my house, for a week and some change, and be okay with it just being him a lot of the time. But in that time, he worked his ass off. Like he was always working. Like I'd come home and that music be playing. You hear the beat wasn't even done yet. Like
Skeleton.
we
Yeah.
hear it. It's like boom, da-dum, doom, da-dum.
Yeah.
But like I heard the break of it. Like before it ever came to be something. So it was just like what an experience to be able to see him work. And also, like, I'm sure he found it interesting to live with me and see how I operate, because I was so consumed with my job. And I was actually in the transition of chasing my dreams. I'm 27 now.
Hell yeah,
And,
kid. Yeah.
like there I guess, at least for myself, I don't have any responsibility, so it's easy. Like I don't have any kids, I'm not married, kind of thing. But it's easy to get wrapped up and lose yourself. And I was about 25 at the time, and I don't know, I was kind of getting lost in the sauce. Like, is this my life? Like, and then I was like, no, there's more to this. And then on my birthday last year, made an unconscious decision to just do music full time. And so ever since then, this has kind of been the career. And now I'm in Spokane. And Kitty's a big part of my backbone. He helps me with a lot of stuff. When I need help, when I need sound reference, I go to him. He's just got such an ear and a soul for the craft. Just like, working with Change and Mike and Cody, those guys all have such a soul and ear. So to have them on my team, it kind of feels like a flex.
Hell yeah, dude, for reals. And to have confidence in your team members feels good too, man.
It does. And here's what's weird is, like, I think this happens with a lot of people too, is you can get lost in yourself. Like as an artist, like you can make music, but at the same time you'll start to overthink yourself. And then it's easy to make and this is going to sound funny, it's like it's easy to make an enemy out of the people around you, because they don't understand you, but they do.
Yeah.
And it's weird because as an artist, and I'm sure you as a podcaster, it's kind of like the same thing. You ain't got nothing against no other podcast. It's
No.
just the fact that your vision's a little different, and sometimes when you want to paint it a certain way, it doesn't often get portrayed the way you want it to. And that's the thing, is like it's putting hours into your craft, and it's like me doing that in an environment where everybody's doing the same thing. So that's what I'm trying to just
Yeah.
keep.
I agree, man. I try to have those kind of friends around me. You know what I mean? And even if we're not working on a song together, it's like encourage each other to write and at least listen to production and pick what we think is dope. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I don't know, man. It is. anytime I meet a musician that I think is talented, I try and make friends. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, if we can work together, cool. If not, I'm still a fan. You know what I mean? And it
Mhm.
does sometimes people do it like, fuck that. I don't want to work with him. Or, you know what I mean? And it's not enemies, but it's just like, hey, dude, I think you're dope. So you know. And
Mhm.
in rap, because I grew up as a rapper, John M.F. Ward. That's how I know TJ and I want to know those guys. And I just switched more to rock and roll in the past decade, man. It just feels less competitive. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's more
it's
expressive and more fun, you know?
melodic. You're
Yeah.
you're dealing with different frequencies, like
Yeah, man. Yes.
like I
You
totally
get
know.
it, bro.
I've actually a funny story. I've always been a rock fan. Like I'll just tell you, I have a Rolodex of different genres of music. Like I make all kinds of music. I love all kinds of music. But last year I had the honor, and I say the honor for a reason. I had the honor of seeing some bands that I grew up watching. They're not like classically old bands like 70s, 80s, 90s, but they're like I got to see who was it? It was 3 Days Grace,
Tight.
Five Finger Death Punch, and
Man, I like them too, dude. Yeah.
I got to see them live, and I grew up listening to these guys. When you go to a show like that, and then you go to a hip hop show, they
Yes.
both are great in their own regard, right?
Yep.
But a rock show,
Thank you.
it's a completely different feeling.
Eh,
Like it's not like anything you like. It's kind of like I put it to you this way: they're using instruments.
yeah.
Go to and I'm comparing sports here. So let's take NASCAR versus UFC.
Yeah.
UFC, it's just human contact. It's
Yep.
all physical. But NASCAR, you got a machine that's rattling that place. That's
Yeah.
essentially what rock is doing. You're not just using their voice, but they have these machines like this guitar, these drums, this bass that carry waves of sound in a way that just make you want to fucking have a mosh pit. Like
Yeah.
you wanna fucking go. So rock's it has a very niche place in my heart, dude. Because
Yeah. Man, I think the crowd too, John M.F. Ward. Like at a rap show, you might see like 3 or 4 types of humans, but at a rock show, you'll see every kind of human, dude. You know what I mean? And it's like it just feels more comfortable to me. You know what I mean? I don't have to fit in as much.
yeah,
Nobody's looking at my shoes. You know what I mean? Like it's
at rap concerts, it's definitely that way. There's a lot more judgment, and not like bad judgment, but just kind of like, oh, you listen to hip hop? That's crazy. I'd have never guessed. With
uh,
rock, everybody does.
yeah,
Rock makes the crossover so well. It's like, oh, you like this? All right, that. Hip hop, it's like, cool, Mr. Cool, Mrs. Cool kind of thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like
it,
it, but at
the-
the same time, rock
the-
is more just enjoy this sound instead of just like I'm better than you.
yeah, yeah, man. Less competition. Less, and like
Oh yeah,
I'm a diss songs are cool too, but it's like, man, here's some expression of emotion, man.
what's funny is, have you ever thought about how hip hop is the only art where having features is considered like top tier?
Yeah, it's strange.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's like, oh, so and so got a track together. But when was the last time you heard like Guns N' Roses featuring Aerosmith? Like that
yeah,
doesn't happen. Rock has its specific own lane, while hip hop is like, hey, be on my song, be on my song. Rock don't do that. Or, painting, like you're not some painter of a canvas isn't gonna be like, hey man, you want to paint half this for me? It's like, no, that doesn't happen. But in hip
yeah,
hop, it's so common.
yeah. I agree.
It's a
Yeah,
trip.
it is a trip, man. Like, and that was like, I guess I didn't ask as many friends. Like on my I just didn't have as many features when I totally went rock with it. It was like, nah, most of the homies don't want to follow me down this path anyway. So it's like I'll
Yep.
just sing these by myself, man. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
They
and
love
it, yeah, Yeah, and it works out, you know. Happy. Like it's cool. I still try and do rap songs with homies, but it's just doesn't float my boat as much, John.
No, hey man, dude, like I've got a niche for everything. Like, here's a good example. When I went to Texas before I caught COVID, um, dude, like I got on stage and I sang some like Rick James, and people were like, "Dude, you sound just like him." It's just kind
Hell
of
yeah.
fun. It's a different genre. I don't even call it rock, but it's a different genre that requires a lot of projecting your voice, and rock is very much the same way. So I I love singing it. I love to really just you know how some like you take a screamo band. Let's use Corn as an example.
Okay.
Corn, they'll go on do a full set and then they can get off and have a conversation with you because they're so in control of their voice.
Dude,
You
yeah.
know what I
I envy that, especially from vocalists, because fuck, dude. It's hard to scream and yell for 30 minutes and then have a voice afterwards, you know what I mean? And just mic
And
placement.
then have to do another set afterward.
Yeah, dude, like breathing, all of that shit. I had this girl, Brandy Leah, on my show a month or so ago. She's a R&B singer, and when I was in Portland, she gave me a couple of vocal lessons, and it was just like, damn, girl, you got game, you know? And it just
That's
it's exercise is important too, like being in shape, you know what I mean? So I was
especially
just like,
popping around on stage.
yeah. Um, since we're on the topic of music, dude, can you talk about your music, dude? Like
Yeah.
what inspired, what inspired you to want to write and record and perform, and like how did that come to be, man? Cuz you're still pretty new in your career. I know you have material out, but you
I'm
know what I
very
mean? Yeah, like
uh,
you're
at least
still
on the
figuring it out, bro, and it sounds good so far, but it's like, man, which way is it gonna go, man? Like, it's
dude,
good.
thank you. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. Like, I'm happy you like the music. Like, that makes me. I can't even explain, bro. Like, there's no better feeling than somebody who's like, "Hey, man, I like that song you made." Like, it's just such a feeling. It's
Y-
like, wow, thank
Yeah,
you for
bro. It's
being able to
specifically that one where it's like, I'm the dub. Is that like role play or something like
role
that?
play. I'm the
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, bro. That shit bangs. When they played that on the podcast, I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
Let me find this and bookmark it, man. You know what I mean? I'll come back to this shit.
yeah, man. There's a lot of music out there. Hang on, actually, hold on. Let me plug in my. I just noticed my laptop wasn't plugging.
Oh yeah, yeah. The battery is gonna die, man. Give it some
Yeah,
juice.
I can't let that happen. So, this is actually kind of fun. Like, what really kind of got me into it and what gave me my start was as a kid. My father was military. You
Okay.
know, the he had done everything and anything to make sure that we had what we had. He was overseas. He'd work late hours. He was enlisted at first before he became, an officer. And my mother, she's from Honduras. She doesn't speak the best of English, but she did what
Oh,
she
that's dope, man. I was gonna ask that question too on ethnicity, but that's Honduras. That's fucking
did.
awesome, man. Yeah.
And honestly, they were very busy. My dad was gone a lot. My mom was gone a lot, and so I was kind of left alone, like at my house, taking care of my brother. And I didn't have a way to express myself. I don't know. Do you have any siblings?
I have a sister, man. She's like 9 years younger than me. So I can relate, man. Like,
Oh, you
yeah.
have
In
a
high
res-
school, yeah, in high school I'd have to go home after school and make sure she had something to eat before my parents got home. You know what I mean? So
exactly, like you
yeah.
have a responsibility, and as much as you want to be a kid, like you want to be a kid and fuck off and do the shit that you want to do, you have a responsibility. So I did my best to take care of my brother and set the example for him. Like establishing differences between right and wrong. But I never really had a time for myself. Like I didn't know how to make myself feel. So what I did was I sang. Like I would, put in, a CD or listen to a CD player or the radio and I would sing to it. Like I was a big fan of music and how it was assembled. Like I was like, there's a verse and this is how they wrote the verse and this is how they sang the verse. And then when the hook came, they sang it this way, and then you'd hear how hard it was to sing. Like, damn, they have a high pitched voice, or damn, they have a low pitched voice. And I remember I'd do everything I could to try and match it. My favorite rock band is called Him. I don't know if you
I've
might know.
I've I've heard of them. Yeah.
His Infernal Majesty, and their lead singer is called Villavallo. Now he has the ability to sing really low and really, really high. Like he can be like, oh, and then he can go, ah, like really high.
Yeah.
So I was like, he can do that. I want to be able to do that. So I would practice singing low and high, but I never wrote music. I just sang other people's music. I got a guitar, I think like in seventh grade.
Tight.
And when that happened, I was at church. Like I started going to church more, and I started playing in church. And that's when I picked up a guitar and started learning like how to make music. Like I learned how to play other people's music, but then at that point I wanted to take their music and make it my own. Like
Yeah.
take that sound and interpret it the way I can. And I don't know if you've ever heard me play like an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, I remember that from the podcast too, man.
Oh
They
yeah,
have the
yeah.
guitar hanging up in there. It's like it was cool. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So like that's when I started to construct songs. Now I've always been a hip hop R&B guy, but I didn't really jump into that first. It was mainly acoustic stuff because I'm more of a Jack Johnson, Alan Stone, Dallas Green kind of guy. Like I like
That's dope, man. Cause it's good to hear you talk about it, man. Cause the role play music or that role play song is not like those guys. It's
not
different. You know what I
it's not
mean?
it's nothing like that. And
Yeah. Sorry
it's
for
funny.
interrupting, man. My bad. It's good to hear about your influences and stuff. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be quiet now, John.
No, interrupt on. I
Okay.
love it, dude. Especially because like you know who they are. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be talking to somebody who's like an R&B head or hip hop head, and I say like I love Dallas Green, Alan Stone. They'll look at me like, who is that? Because they don't. A lot of people they stick to their guns. Like again, like people love what they love, and I don't knock that at all. But me, I'm very diverse. Like I like hip hop, I like rock, I like electric, I like
Yeah.
jazz, I like everything. Like my ear is everywhere. So when you listen to my music, it's not coming from one place. Like it comes from bachata, it comes from country music. Like country's got the key to my heart, bro. So
Tight. I've
like
been getting more into it lately, bro. Like, yeah. Tight.
So my song "Make It Right" that I have with Change, he he's on the song, and it's like my biggest ballad. That if anything, like it's an R&B song, but it's a country song when you
Didn't did
listen to it.
didn't you drop the video for that like just a little bit ago, like a month ago or something?
No. Make It Right was back in June. It was back
Okay.
in
Yeah, because I watched that video too, and it was different than I was like, this is totally different, bro. I'm like, that's cool, you know?
like shot one is me and you. Like it's this ballad that really shakes you, but that song stems from country because country songs are always about life and sad and the muck, and this is kind of what that song's about. So when it comes to the songwriting process, I come from it from every angle. Like you might hear an R&B hook that is hip hop, but it was inspired by this. It could come from anywhere. So I'm
Hell
I'm
yeah.
I'm grateful for music and how I can make it. But that's kind of how it was for me. I didn't have a way of expressing myself, so I constructed songs, and then it was first acoustic, and then as I got into high school, obviously the competitive nature of a young man, you start to meet other artists. And then some of them would rap, and you're like, "Damn, that'd be kind of cool to do." The funny thing is I've
Yeah.
always freestyled since I was knee high to a duck, my friend. Like
Tight.
I've
Tight.
been freestyling, but I never told people about it. So when I got into high school, I heard people freestyling. I was like, oh, bet. Let me fucking
Jump in the
get involved.
circle.
And I'm
Yeah.
dropping freestyles. And now I'm doing that. And that kind of earned me my stripes. Now, anywhere I go, when people freestyle, and I'm more than happy to join in because it's something I practiced my whole life.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Bro, staying on top of it, man. Music's the shit, bro. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. So after high school, like man, for real, like what after that, I mean, shit, that's like 10 years.
Oh, that is
10 years
true.
of story. Yeah, like could you tell us more about your career, man? Cuz
Oh,
like what was who did you produce? Who was your producer when you first started? And
okay.
anything like that, bro? Like
Nah,
The story of John M.F. Ward, yo.
I got you, bro. So here's where it gets fun. So I'll kind of take it just from high school. So I graduate high school and the world is yours. You feel like $1 million graduating high school. You're like, man, me and the homies made it. They said we wouldn't make it. We made it.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's drinking, at the end of the night, the ceremony's in a week or whenever it was, you have the ceremony. A week after I graduated high school, my dad looked at me and he goes, you have two choices, son. You can sit here in Killeen and figure it out, or you can move to Houston and I'll, cover your school and you can figure it out there. And I was like, all right. I feel like I'd be dumb if I turned down free school. So I was like, I'm going to go to school. So I moved to Houston. And within the first 2 years, well, more like year and a half, I wound up very depressed. Like I gained a bunch of weight. I didn't know anybody in Houston. I had these expectations of what I thought life was going to be, and I thought I had it figured out, and I didn't. The freshman 15 turned into like the freshman 30. I gained weight, and
Damn.
I don't know, I just kind of fell into this hole. And then one day I got invited to a wedding, a buddy of mine's wedding, and I went out there and I had spent the night with my buddy Eric. And shout out to Eric Gotze, he's one of my brothers, love him to death. And he was talking, he's a psychologist, so he's talking to me kind of like, well, what do you want to do with your life? Like, really? Like, what do you want? And mind you, I'm stoned to the gills when we're having this conversation. Like, and I'm thinking about my life. And he goes, I'll tell you what, man, you can move into my house. And this is back home from Houston. So I'm back home. And then I go back to Houston and I tell my dad, not even a week later, and I'm already failing. Like I'm already in college, I'm failing. So I'm just like, fuck it. I ain't got no other options.
I dropped out of college a few times, John M.F. Ward. You're all good, bro. And I like to hear the L's too, though, in this story because that's relevant, man.
Dude, thank you. Because like people don't understand. Like people like to think that it's like, man, it feels shameful. It's like, bro, you gotta eat the L's before you ever get any wins.
Yes, bro. That's why I love that. I'm the dub. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like that shit is cracking, John. Anyway, my bad, man. Anyway, yeah. So you went back for the wedding. Stay with the homie. What did your pop say when you told him, man?
I couldn't have had or asked for a more understanding dad.
That's dope.
Like I told him, I was like, Dad, this isn't working. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna go do this, and this is what it is. And I think it's gonna be the best thing that's ever happened to me. And he kind of was like, well, all right, but if you don't, you don't have a, all right, but he wasn't negative about it. Like he was very much so the type to be like, okay, do you. He didn't understand fully, but he was like, just do you. And I remember the day I left, and it's funny we're talking about this now. I was talking to my brother about this earlier today. I remember packing up my stuff and I'm rushing out of the house because I'm about to leave, right? Like it's the same day I told him. And I'm about to pull off, and my brother was like, bye, John, bye, because I'm all in a hurry. And then I was about to leave without even telling my brother bye. And I remember I got out of the car and I walked over and I gave him a hug and I said, I love you, dog. And I'm sorry if I feel like I'm in a rush right now and I'm leaving you and stuff, but it's just, I'm finally leaving. I'm finally going to do something with my life.
Dude,
something that's without the context of my parents.
Yeah.
They don't understand because your parents never do,
Nah, they don't. Yeah.
It's the trials of a young man and woman. You go through this. And so I leave and I'm going to pursue music full time. And long story short, I had a lot of life experiences. I was in a relationship for like 4 years. From 2015 all the way to 19, I was in a relationship. And, I lived in Heights, Killeen area. And then back to Houston. And I went from hopping to job. And I wasn't even really pursuing music. I said I was, but it was more of just enjoying time away from my family. And then I wound up breaking up with my girlfriend in 2019 because we both ran into a point in our lives where we weren't helping each other. With all the respect and love I have for her, like I'm wishing her the best, but we didn't have we weren't doing what we needed to do to be satisfied and fulfilled in life. So what I decided to do was, walk away and try and be better. And people can look at me as the enemy for that. Like a lot of people, like one thing I've learned growing over the years is no matter how hard you try or do for yourself, you will always be the enemy in somebody's story.
Yeah.
Not saying that I'm the enemy in hers or anything, but it's just like no matter what you do, some people will label you the enemy. But I had to do what I had to do. And not even a month after we broke up, I got a new job. I made a lot of money because I was a sales job.
Yeah.
And then I bought music.
Yeah.
Like I bought my mic, I bought everything for myself, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm officially gonna do this. And then before that happened, I ended up doing a feature. Like I ended up doing features with here, I'm gonna show you actually. It's kind of funny. My buddy reached out to me before I even started doing music again. This is 2019. I hadn't decided yet. He said, I need you to be on a song of mine. And I said, okay. And these were my only headphones to record this song.
Wow.
So I did it and I nailed the feature. Like I sent it out and I was like, guys, this is a new song I'm featured on. I haven't done music in years, but this is my chance. I dropped it and people reached out to me like, dude, why aren't you doing this? Like, why aren't
Yeah.
you making music? And so I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to get into it. And so I dropped my first single after that and it was called Saturday.
Okay.
And then the second song was called Role Play.
Dude, yeah, that was the second man, bro. Yeah, that man.
Yeah, that was the second song I ever released.
Yeah, who made that beat, man? You made the beat?
No. I wish I did. The gentleman's name was BTMG. BTMJ.
BTMJ.
Yeah, he's an Asian fellow. I'm trying to remember because I contacted him on Instagram, but I don't think he got back to me, or he did, but it was very short. I bought the beat and I wrote the song right after I had caught the flu in December, right in the transition to 2020. I literally caught the flu in the last 2 days of the flu. It was like January 1st, January 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up, heard that beat, and I wrote it in like 5 minutes. And I was like, this song is so dope. I released it. And everyone was like, yo, this song's dope. And so I was like, fuck it. Let me write a tape.
Yeah.
And so within 7 days, I wrote this mixtape. And 2 weeks later, well, more like 3 weeks later, I dropped it on my birthday. And that's when everything started. It started last year in January. On January 21st, 2020, I dropped my first mixtape and the ball rolled. After that mixtape on February 2nd, I dropped another tape called Smoke in Houston. And then a couple months later, I dropped another tape called I Forgot How Much I Hate Myself. I forgot how much I hated me because of the quarantine.
Yeah.
And then I dropped my third tape, which was 68 Degrees. Now, when I dropped 68 Degrees, that's when Change and Mike and everybody reached out to me. And they were like, we really love your sound and who you are and what you represent. And we would love to invest in who you are and what you do. And they, offered to help me roll out my music on a professional level, like iTunes and Spotify. And I was like, really? Like, y'all can help me do that? And they're like, yeah, bro. And so ever since then, they've just been on my team. And that's kind of where it's at right now. We dropped Make It Right. We dropped Tab. Well, Make It Right, Liner, Tab, and Bad Money.
Word.
And
Liners, that's a cool video too, man. Did you used to do a mechanic job also?
I detailed cars with Cody.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's where we filmed the video. We filmed it at a shop.
Yeah, man, that it looked real. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, he probably did that job. Like that's tight. I like blue collar shit, John M.F. Ward. You know what I mean? Not hating on guys who do IT or desk jobs, but
yeah. But I mean, we like the hands-on stuff. That's because I mean, as a kid, it's what we did. Like it was all hands-on. You put stuff in things, you turn this, and it it was very physical. Not to say you weren't using your head, but it was very physical. So I can appreciate it because my dad was military. That's what he always did with us. So handiwork is my preferred work. Now I don't want to do it my whole life because obviously we get old, but
Yeah.
I do love handiwork. I love working with cars. I love working outside. It's just fun.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Dope. So I didn't know that it was also fresh and new too, dude. Like I'm glad I'm getting you early in your career too, bro, cuz it is. It's going to tick upward, bro.
I certainly hope so. And it's I guess where it gets weird for me is like I placed a lot of expectations on things, I think like, all right, this is good, this is great, this is gonna do this, and then it doesn't, and that's okay. But what's important is that I love my music, I love what it stands for, I love the message I try and portray, and I try and stick to that as
Same.
much as I can.
Same. I like it too, John Ward. And it is, man. It's a lot of letdown and like fuck. I thought that was going to do better than it did, but I think as long as the way I see it is as long as I'm enjoying the time that I'm spending doing the shit, then I should just be happy about that, you know?
Yeah, it's the most important part. Like I don't, I had to get past the fact that it doesn't matter if it happens to take off or if it doesn't. It's like as long as you are fully satisfied with your music, that's really what matters. Is because you're supposed to have fun with it. If you make this all about business, then I feel like you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You have to do this for the love of the craft and appreciation of the craft, and that's what I got to bring myself back to. Because sometimes I forget. Um, because I'd like to make it an income. Like some people,
Yeah.
they're fine with I can do this on the side. It's like, no, man, I'm an entertainer. Like
Yes.
getting me through a speaker or a video is only half. Like if you could see me on stage and I could give you a show that you're not gonna want to have your phone out for. Like you're gonna want to be involved. That's what I want to do because I'm that type of person. Like I'm an entertainer first, and that's what I'm working towards. So hopefully I'll get there.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're there, bro. It's, I just want people to be able to go to shows, you know what I mean? Cuz that's dude, I want to go to shows. That's the shit that I miss the most. Is like, man, there's a lot of time. And that's where a lot of the talent shines through too. Is in the live performance, man.
Hmm.
And sometimes guys will do covers like you said you did Rick James. Like that's probably not on your SoundCloud. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta buy a ticket to hear that shit. You know?
Exactly right, dude. Like you're gonna catch
Yeah,
at unique times. But I'm an entertainer first. I love to make people remember moments because life's about the moments. It's not about this big. What's the saying? It's like I know I use this saying all the time. It's like life moves pretty fast, but if you don't stop and look around, you just might miss it. Like I'm the type to where if we're hanging out, I want to make the night memorable, man. Like let's make it about the moment, not just like a quick little. It's like, oh yeah, I hung out with him once. It's like, no, I hung out with so and so, and it was a wonderful time. Like we had a great time. Like I like the moments. I don't like just a quick. Let's just rush through it and like enjoy every day. And as I've gotten older, like I just turned 27 this month, so I've noticed that I slow things down a lot more. Like when I'm pouring a hot cup of water for my tea, like I can appreciate it more. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just hurrying up to go chase this ideal thing. It's like, no, the beauty is in the small things you do for yourself every day. When you brush your teeth, when you're showering, it's so easy to overlook it. You remember as a kid, it's like, let me just get to school so I can see these cute girls, or let me get to
yeah,
school so I can do that thing. It's like, you don't think about the breakfast you're going to eat and the shoes you wear because you love those shoes. And, you know, it's the little things that make life beautiful. It's not, but it took me so long to understand that.
no
And
doubt.
that's what makes the music beautiful is because you pour in the little, the little moments that have compiled in your time into 2 minutes of sound. And then you can relate to somebody who doesn't even know you.
Yeah,
They're listening to it and they're like, wow, so this is a day in the life or a perspective of so and so, and
yeah.
that is just fucking insane to me.
Hell yeah, John Ward. Hell yeah. Deep, man, deep. Okay, so I gotta ask you. We're almost to an hour. If you want to hang out longer, that's all good, man. But I gotta ask this question to everybody I have on the show. It's a two-sided question. The first side is, what do you feel has been your best move on the path to where you are right now?
Trust. I think the biggest move was me trusting myself. Because if I had kept doubting, if I kept listening to the voices that everybody has, like everybody experiences these voices,
Yeah,
I don't think I would have accomplished as much. I just had to trust myself and trust the guys that believed in me. I don't know. Have you seen that new Selena series on Netflix?
I have it, man. What's it called?
I think it's just called Selena. It's
Oh wait,
about
yeah, I saw people hating on because it wasn't J Lo in the series or something. Guys,
yeah,
are,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Fuck them. It's a great series.
yeah, man. TJ and On I think both highly recommended it. They were like,
I
dude, you gotta watch it.
loved it, and the reason I bring it up is there's a scene where Selena's dad. I don't think he was saying this to Selena, but Selena's dad says, he goes, "You need to take a look around at the people who believe in you. You need to start believing in yourself as much as they do." You know, and I just remember that really hitting home with me because I was like, yeah, I need to start trusting myself, my own judgment. Because if I don't, then it'll all crumble. What makes a superstar or a figure in a particular field stand out is their confidence, their charisma, like their ability to take a hit and keep moving forward, or take a hit and use it to their advantage. Trusting yourself, knowing how to react, that was the most important part. I think that's the most important part of my journey, because for the longest time, even in the sales world, you question yourself, but the more time you question yourself, the more opportunities you miss. So
Yeah,
I think the biggest growth part in this whole process was me trusting myself,
dope.
and moving forward with guys who genuinely believe in me. And I couldn't have asked for a better team. These guys are great.
That's tight,
Oh,
man.
COVID sucks, but they're
Yeah.
they're a great team. I love it.
Hell yeah, man. Good answer, John M.F. Ward. Okay, so the other side of that question, what do you feel has been your biggest mistake on the path to where you are right now?
I wouldn't say it's a single thing I've done. It's a mental thing that I've done a couple of times, and it is placing high expectations on every move. That's my biggest mistake. There's a saying, happiness is reality without expectations, and I couldn't have heard a more
That's dope.
solid answer. When you don't expect anything, life tends to spoil your fucking ass. Now, when you expect shit, you're gonna get let down almost every time. My biggest letdown is the fact that I place these unrealistic expectations on my life. Like I do almost every time. And I tell myself I won't do it, but I do.
Yeah,
And it's the human, it's the kid in me, but I'm grateful for it, because at least it lets me know that there's a piece of me that has this, like, hey, like, you can do better and you deserve better, so keep working for it. And so I think my biggest mistake is having those expectations too high, because I'll let myself down, and that's where it gets weird. Just enjoy the moments, and that's one thing I think I'm learning every day as I roll forward in my career.
dope, man. Dope. Good answer, man. Good answer. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, bro. Like I'm like everybody answers it differently, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's real short too, and I'm just like, man, elaborate, say a little bit more. So like
Oh
that's
yeah, no, dude.
yeah.
It's something I've thought about a lot. Like I get so lost in myself, because you have these ideas and you have this way you want to be heard, but you'll never be heard the way you want to be heard. You always just be heard how people hear you.
Yeah.
And that sounds so weird, but it's just the reality of it. And you can't expect somebody to take you as serious or not take you as serious. Just do you, and 100% be okay with you. And I think that when you do that, naturally your artistry is conveyed better because you're not pushing it like that. It's just like, dude, just do it for you and let it ride, because that's what I'm trying to do, man. Like I've placed expectations on shit, and again, like I said, I still do. I hate people. I'm see, hate's a tough word. I can't stand the idea that people have of, you know, yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Like you'll meet somebody who think, you know, like you, that's admirable. Like you're like, wow, what a guy, what a character. That person has been through hell and back.
Yeah.
And the reason why we think of them in such a regard is because they've accepted who they are.
Yeah.
This is my truth.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that point.
Hell yeah.
We meet adults all the time who haven't accepted it. You know,
Yeah.
like you
Ye-
meet them all the time. They're either getting lost in a drink, or they're getting lost in gambling, or they're getting lost on a car project in the garage. And they forget, accept who you are, love who you are, remember who you are, and let that translate. Don't worry about, oh, I have to do this to make it look. No, stop. Do what feels natural for you, and that will pour the message out. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man. Deep shit, John M.F. Ward, man.
My mind is ridiculous, dude. Like I can never look at anything in a surface level. Like I always just have to dig deep into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Zen as fuck, John, for reals, man.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Okay. So man, that's pretty much it for my cookie cutter questions. The other thing that I like to ask is what sort of ideas or concepts would you like to promote for the future? I mean, you kind of touched on that, but you know, maybe it's like people should recycle, or you know what I mean? Mine is I want everyone to be able to grow their own cannabis. If it's going to
oh,
be federally legal, everybody should be able to grow their own like it's vegetables, you know what I mean? Not have to go to the store. Most people are going to go to the store anyway,
lazy.
but yeah, but everyone should be allowed to grow their own at home or outside, and not go to jail. That's the concept I want to promote. So what would you, you know, what do you want to spread to the world, man? Like as far as just a concept or idea.
As far as just the concept or idea, don't don't look at things for the big picture all the time.
Good advice, man.
Like fill your day with the little things that you love to do. And, and I'll even lay out my routine here. I know that I won't have a good day if I don't do the things that I love to do. So here's an example. When I wake up,
Fuck, good advice, man.
dude, like
Yeah.
I do a breathing exercise. I don't know if you're familiar with Wim Hof.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, so Wim Hof is this. Some would argue he's a superhuman, but he's a gentleman who has mastered the breath. Like he's good with breath work. So he's broken numerous records, like being submerged in piercing ice cold temperature waters in his body, temperature not changing, them injecting a virus into his body, and him breathing a certain way and not contracting any flu like symptoms. Like he's done things that are amazing. So every morning, the moment I wake up and I get off the phone with my beautiful girlfriend, I do my breathing exercises, and I do that. After that, I hit a couple of stretches. I go to take a shower. I enjoy my shower. Like enjoy your routine. Like don't look at your phone. Like don't post your routine all the time. Like do what you love for you first. That's what's in, like that's literally, it's the best part. As long as you know you love this for you, that's all that matters. So I do my breathing exercises, hop in the shower, take a nice warm shower, and then the last 2 minutes of that shower, I turn the heat off and I take an ice cold piercing shower. Like it wakes you up. Like the water here is freezing in the morning. So if
Yeah.
you turn that heat off and it's just cold water, that chill, if you're in your head You're not in your head anymore. Like it's freezing. So you're in the shower, but you're breathing deep and you're thinking about your body that's cold and you can feel almost all your extremities. It almost is like it's like a cup of coffee for your body.
Word.
Um on the exterior. So I do that for 2 minutes and then I turn it off and then I pat myself off. And while I'm freezing, I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself, you are great. You're gonna have a great day. You're gonna be better. You're gonna do better. You're gonna spend a little more time progressing today. I get out of my shower. I get dressed. I cook myself a beautiful breakfast. I enjoy my breakfast. I don't rush through my breakfast. I enjoy it. I take, like I take, like enjoy nourishing myself. And then I quit drinking coffee. I drink tea now.
Dope.
So I sip my tea. It's hot, fresh every time. Unlike coffee, sometimes you'll make a pot and then the fresh cup, it'll already be made. So it's been sitting there for a little while. I make sure my tea is fresh every time. And I smell it and I take in that smell, have my tea, and then I write my pages for the day. I write about a page and a half, handwritten, about what I dreamt about. Did I wake up with anxiety? Did I tell my girlfriend how much I loved her last night? Did I talk about the little things that make up who and what I am to the people in my life. That is what's important. Like, fall in love with what you want to do, not what you think people want you to do. Some people think that you have to do a certain thing for you to feel, or no. If you love to wake up and make pancakes every morning for you and that's what you do, then do it. Because you can do it without your phone and it makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel good. Moderation is the key to life.
Yeah.
And stop rushing all the goddamn time. Like no one is at your neck telling you to hurry up. And if they are, that person needs to check themselves because you are right where you need to be. Stop thinking I should be further along in my life than I am. Listen, bitch, that is not the case. Like
Yeah.
you are exactly where you need to be. All the possible outcomes of good and bad have happened to you when they needed to happen to you because it wouldn't have happened to you if you weren't ready for it. Take a deep breath. And I don't know what the term is in psychology, but it's like a census test. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling overwhelmed, right now think of five things or name five things you can visually see around you. Name three things that you can actually hear. Name two things that you can actually smell, and one thing that you can actually taste in your room. So if you do that when you feel anxious, it'll bring you back down to what you're doing so you can focus in the moment.
Fuck, that's a good one right there, dude. Like,
Mhm.
because
So
sometimes that happens in public or when you're stressed out. You know what I mean? And you
you need to think of about a million things at once. And believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, when you're overthinking, your tongue is on the roof of your mouth unconsciously. So when you're overthinking, your tongue is literally on the roof of your mouth. So next time you
messing up
feel
your
like you're
breathing.
overthinking, pull your tongue down, like keep it still.
Yeah.
And when you keep your tongue still and you focus, it'll settle your mind. So start breathing again. Focus on your breath. Remember that everything you're worried about is either in the future or it's in the past. Don't worry about it too much. Again, I'm not perfect at this. I experience anxiety. Like this shit happens. That's why I
Yeah.
write a lot. I talk about what I feel. But if there's ways to assist and slow down the expectations that you think life needs to be this, that's what I need to do. And that's the one thing I'm trying to incorporate. Enjoy the things that you love to do for you. And I promise you, you will be where you wanted to be. But as long as you know you're giving yourself the mental capacity to work towards it. And I think you experience revelations and open chapters in your life that you never thought. But first, you got to trust yourself.
No doubt. Fuck man, John M.F. Ward, man, good advice, bro. Like I feel like people who listen to this shit are really gonna benefit from it, man. You
Dude,
do
I
like a you
really
do
hope
like
so.
a self help YouTube channel, also, dude. Like shit.
Dude,
Listen to this guy in the morning, man. You know what I
I just
mean?
I know too many men and women who think you have to be this certain thing to be successful or to be fulfilled. And it's like, no, sweetheart, like, no, dude, like what you can do is what you want.
Yeah.
Do what you want. It doesn't matter what your parents or what anybody thinks of you, as long as you know you're doing what you want. Now, of course, don't go out there fucking murdering people and vandalizing shit. Don't do anything that is not legal and could harm somebody.
Yeah.
But love what you love and do what you love, bro. Because let me tell you, I'm 27, and I'm sure y'all all remember what it was like when you were 27. You're just enjoying life, fucking. But it goes so fast, and I started to realize this about 2 years ago. I remember with a certain somebody, and we weren't in the best place. We were kind of arguing, and I had a moment thinking, I spent too much time arguing.
Yeah.
I've spent too much time arguing to where it's like this is my life now.
Yeah, dude. It's not
All
fun anymore,
it
Like,
adds up. It adds up.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
fucking an hour worth of arguing turns into 5, 6 hours during the week. So you're arguing an hour a day,
yeah,
6 hours a week. And then that adds up 6, 12, 18, 24. That's 24 hours of arguing a month.
yeah,
That
man.
adds up.
Yeah, it's
And
a whole day, bro.
you don't want that. And so
Nah.
for me, take pride and love who you are and what you do. And also remember that love is not possessive.
Yeah,
It's not.
yep,
Love is respect. Love is discipline. Love is choosing to get up and do those 10 push-ups. Love is choosing, I don't want this donut because honestly, I know that I'll get tired after eating this donut, and I'd much rather just eat the apple. It's healthier.
yeah,
Love is deciding I'm going to get off my phone at 9 and I'm going to go to bed at 9:30. Because
word.
if you stay up till midnight, you're going to regret it and you're going to wake up feeling like shit tomorrow. That's love. Love is knowing yourself, and
Fucking A.
it's choosing to be the best you can be. And that's why I tell you, love your routine, because there's going to be a day, and this has happened. Like, I've heard people's jail stories. Like, they're like, man, I remember I went to jail last night and I was drunk. And then I woke up the next day and I was like, fuck, I can't get my coffee. I can't take my shower. I can't do none of this because I'm here. And it's like, well, if you had listened to yourself and said, I shouldn't have gone out or I shouldn't have acted this way, you would have had everything you needed to make you a happy person.
Yeah,
Stick to the things that make you happy. Don't go outside yourself too much. Now, of course, do that because you want to grow, but know what makes you happy, know what makes you uncomfortable, and then push those boundaries small, because that's what makes you special. Because you see things and do things in a different way. And then you'll see somebody else later on, just like you. I'm sure you meet young bucks all the time trying something, and you're like, they'll learn if they do it this way, it'll help. But, that takes time.
yeah, man. Everybody's on their own path, man. That's why it's cool to hear people talk about their journey. It's like
Exactly.
it's
And,
dope.
that's why podcasts are so cool. Like, I've toyed with the idea of starting my own. And,
I think it'd be dope, John. Man, for reals, bro. I need a Zoom. You could get a lot of people to talk to you on your show, man.
dude, that's so crazy. But no, this is definitely something I've thought about, but it also just kind of goes back to enjoying the moments. And I think that's what that'd be my thing I want to push. Just enjoy the little things, man, because I promise you, bro, if you're looking for $1 million, if you're looking for a one-hit moment, look, dude, you're not gonna find that.
Yeah.
Like, stop looking for this thing that's like, oh, this is absolute. Bro, the little moments are the people that you can text every day and say, hey, man, I love you, dude. Have a great day. That's fucking great.
Hell yeah. Good
Mhm.
call. Good call, John Ward. Well,
Dude,
I feel like, yeah, I think we're past an hour now, dude. Can you tell everyone where they can find your music and music videos and how they can get in contact with you on social media?
absolutely, man. I am on all platforms under the name John MF Ward, JOHN MF Ward. No spaces, none of that, just John MF Ward. If you want to find my music, I'm on Apple, Tidal, Spotify, I'm on YouTube, John MF Ward. I've got 4 music videos out. I've got podcasts out. I've got, my Instagram page and my TikTok's full of stuff every day. I'm always putting stuff out. So please don't be hesitant to reach out to me either. The last thing I ever want is people to feel like, oh, well, he's doing that, so I can't hit him up. Please, if you're a fan, reach out. If you share love, tag me. I will shout you out. I always do that. I'm nothing without the people I'm around, and I'm nothing without the fans who love what I do. So thank y'all. And also remember that I'm literally just a reflection of you. Like, and I'm your reflection as well. Like, no one's better than anybody here. We all are just trying to make it.
No doubt. Good advice, John Ward. Good words, bro. Like thanks for taking the time, man. And yeah, giving us some real honest answers too, man. You're a real cool cat. I feel like I didn't get some of this shit on the BBB episode, but shout out to my fellas for having you on their show, because otherwise I wouldn't have known, man.
Oh,
You know what I
dude,
mean?
like I love those guys, and I'm excited to link up with them soon whenever the album comes around. They definitely said they'd be revisiting whenever there was an album, and I'll be sure to keep you in the so we can all get together.
Yeah, man. I've been doing the video over there, man. Shout out to those fellows. I love hanging out with them and podcasting too. And I feel like I got to get some content from you that wasn't just overlapping with theirs. So thanks, man. It means a lot.
Not a problem. And thank you for asking, and thank you for reaching out to me again. It's so weird, sometimes people get nervous, like I don't know, like if they'll say, it's like, bro, reach out to me. I'm always looking to extend the branches of my family tree. Spokane's a small place. It's a beautiful place, and we're living through a pandemic, but I think we can come out of it on top and stronger as a family than we've ever been. So I'm hoping that we get to that point.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Good call, John Ward. Man, I feel like that's a good spot to wrap right there, bro. I'm gonna do my outro dance. This was the 93rd episode of Concerned Dabs Podcast. I was your host, Kitty M. Kane. Our guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, John M.F. Ward. Please follow him online. All lowercase, all one word, no spaces, no nothing. JOHNMFWARD. He's got new stuff all the time. Follow him online. He is the man. I am a fan. We're glad to have him on the show. I also got to give a shout out to my guys in production, Mitchell Wilson and Jesse Curry. This has been a Main Node and Joseph Street Enterprise production.
I love it.